Hey there. Uh, Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you enjoy this content. Now let's get started. Have you ever wondered if you could survive the most terrifying horror movies? It's a thought that crosses everyone's mind, right? From bloodthirsty killers to supernatural forces, uh, these films put human endurance to the ultimate test. Uh, um, and today we're exploring 1570s horror movies where survival seems almost impossible. Um, each one ramps up the stakes with deadly traps, relentless monsters, or mind-bending horrors. Let's break down why a visiting when the cinematic nightmare would likely spell doom for most of us, which is that much more visitor because he would be a similar stuff of in The Conjuring, the parent family moves into a haunted Rhode Island farmhouse, only to face a malevolent spirit tied to a witch's curse. The house itself feels alive with evil, from slamming doors to shadowy figures. Um, Surviving this would be tough because the entity doesn't just stare. It attacks with intent to kill. You need unshakable mental strength to resist possession. And even then, the demon plays dirty creative. Candyman haunts Chicago's Cabrini Green, saying his name 5 times in front of a mirror, summons a vengeful spirit with a hook for a hand. His presence turns curiosity into a death sentence. Avoiding Candyman seems simple, just don't say his name. But his legend lures people in, and once he's after you, escape is brutal. His supernatural power and relentless pursuit make survival a slim chance. Scream features a small town terrorized by Ghostface, a masked killer who taunts victims with horror movie trivia before striking. The phone calls and brutal stabbings keep everyone on edge. Ghostface's human nature makes survival slightly more feasible, but his cunning and unpredictability are deadly. Uh, um, you'd need to outsmart a killer who knows every horror trope. And in Child's Play, Chucky, a doll possessed by serial killer Charles Lee Ray, brings terror to young Andy Barclay and his mom. Chucky's small size hides his vicious strength. You might think kicking a doll sounds easy, but Chucky's supernatural edge and knack for surprise attacks make him lethal. I like to survival hinges on realizing the threat early and staying one step ahead. Us sees the Wilson family facing their doppelgangers, violent, scissor-wielding shadows tied to them by a dark connection. These twisted doubles mimic their every move, but act with savage intent. Um, um, Outsmarting your own shadow is a nightmare. The doppelgangers know your weaknesses and match your cunning. So physical strength alone won't cut it. Or it features Pennywise, a shape-shifting entity that preys on the children of Derry, Maine, feeding on their fear. The Losers Club bands together to fight back, but the odds are grim. Pennywise's ability to manipulate your mind makes survival brutal. He's not just a monster. He's a psychological predator who can appear as your worst nightmare. The Blair Witch Project follows 3 filmmakers who venture into Maryland's Black Hills Forest to investigate the Blair Witch legend. They face eerie symbols, unsettling noises, and a force that disorients them. Battle. Surviving the Blair Witch means navigating an endless forest with no map and a malevolent presence. Hunger, exhaustion, and psychological torment would break most people, as Midsummer sees a group of Americans visiting a Swedish commune for a rare festival, only to discover its sinister rituals. Danny, grieving a personal tragedy, faces a cult that manipulates her vulnerability. That would precede that the commune's psychological grip makes escape tricky, makes a spectative for you need to see through their fake hospitality and resist their mind games, all while dealing with trauma visible. Friday the 13th sets Camp Crystal Lake as the hunting ground for Jason Voorhees, a near-invincible killer with a machete. And his brute strength and silent approach make him a relentless predator. And Jason's raw power and refusal to stay dead make survival a long shot. Running might buy time, but his knowledge of the terrain and sheer persistence would catch most people off guard. A Quiet Place is set in a world overrun by blind aliens who hunt by sound. The Abbott family survives by staying silent. One noise, a creak, a whisper, can draw these creatures with deadly precision. Living in silence is nearly impossible. A single mistake, like stepping on a twig, could end it all. You need much more superhuman discipline to avoid making noise, and also many of Cube features strangers waking up in a maze of deadly booby-trapped rooms. They must work together to escape, and paranoia and mistrust tear them apart. The Cube's ever-shifting design keeps them guessing. Surviving the Cube requires genius-level problem-solving and teamwork under pressure. One wrong step triggers a trap, and the group's infighting makes trust a gamble. Hellraiser introduces the Cenobites, demonic beings summoned by a puzzle box, offering pleasure but delivering eternal torment. They drag victims into a realm of pain and suffering. Probably the Cenobites' supernatural power and love of torture make survival grim. You'd need to resist the box's temptation and somehow outsmart beings who thrive on pain, for example, as a proceeding. A Nightmare on Elm Street sees Freddy Krueger hunting teens in their dreams where death is real. Nancy Thompson fights to stay awake as Freddy's bladed glove and twisted mind invade her sleep. Staying awake forever isn't an option, and Freddy's dream world control gives him the upper hand. You need to master lucid dreaming and conquer fear itself. And Saw features Jigsaw's traps forcing victims into gruesome games where survival means making horrific choices. Each trap tests their will and morality. Jigsaw's games are designed to break you physically and mentally. You need nerves of steel to endure the pain and make unthinkable decisions under a ticking clock. And obviously, Final Destination shows survivors being hunted by an invisible force that crafts elaborate fatal accidents. Outrunning fate is a losing game. Death's creativity ensures no one escapes for long. So could you survive these sort of terrifying scenarios? And what if you're still feeling confident, maybe you should take a look at The Ring. Just remember, don't watch it alone. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.